today's webinar. Today we will be looking into integration of SAP Master Data Governance with SAP Cloud for Customers. So here are our presenters for today. I will introduce myself Bharat Tambat. I am looking into the data governance aspects, looking into SAP Master Data Governance and the consolidation processes. I will hand it over to my colleague Manuel. Manuel, please introduce yourself.
Yeah, thank you, Bharat, for the introduction. My name is Manuel Techel. I'm responsible at IB Solution for our custom experience solutions portfolio and also with the integration in other systems.
Okay, so let's look into the agenda for today. So first, we will look into what are the challenges that we get into the integration processes. Then we will look into the MDG C4C integration. We will look into the advantages of the integration. We will look into the integration scenarios, and then we will have a short demo session. So let's look into what are the challenges that we face. Whenever we have a multiple system landscape, when we have a different systems for Cloud for Customer, we have a different system for maintaining the master data, we have a different system for ERP, so then it leads to challenges. So the multiple data record of the same customer is there in the different systems. So then this results into there is a high possibility of the data loss because of there is each a manual process which is involved. It also results in the bad quality of the data being maintained because of the duplicate data in each systems. So for example, the customer one maintaining one system can have one address, whereas in different system it might have the different address, but whereas the customer is the same. So this results in a highly inefficient process. The customer creation in C4C cannot leverage the MDG consolidation process. MDG consolidation process lets you to find a duplicate record, lets you to merge the duplicate records, gives you the best record calculation. All this functionality cannot be available in the individual systems. We have a different transactional data. So for example, the transactional data cannot be synced between the SAP C4C or SAP ERP and S4HANA due to the different master data. The sales and service department, they have to wait until the process is finished in each system or until the master data is available in all the systems. So then now let's look into how we can achieve the integration of MDG and C4C. The integration of SAP Master Data Governance with SAP Cloud for Customer, it enables the bi-directional replication of new or changed business partner records between both the systems. It ensures the availability of the latest record in each system. It enables to have an optimal data quality. The integration of SAP, MDG and C4C can take place via PI, that's process integration, or cloud platform integration system. So as you can see in the chart in the presentation here, we have MDG system which is connected to the middleware system, can be PI or CPI, connected to C4C system, connected to SAP ERP system. So for example, the data record or creation process starts from this C4C, it goes to the middleware system. From middleware, it is transferred to MDG system where the consolidation process happens. The data gets activated. It is transferred to ERP where you can check the data, you can do the transactional data, and it is replicated back to C4C. This is how the complete integration process looks like. So what are the advantages of MDG and C4C integration. The changed or newly created records are having in each system can be identified using the key mapping. So for example, the customer record in C4C system can have a different number range as that of an MDG system, then as that of an ERP system. Then via key mapping, we can identify the record which is mapped in all the systems. MDG ensures that all the connected client systems, including ERP, is provided with the latest version of the data records. The consultation process is automatically triggered in MDG. It identifies duplicates record. We can define the best record, and we can merge or disregard the redundant records.
Okay, Bharat, thank you. Perfect for showing us the scope and advantages of a SAP C4C and MDG integration. If we talk about business scenarios, we have actually a couple of flavors on setting up the business processes. For example, we can, as a sales rep, create new customers directly in C4C in our front office CRM system. And then we have a possibility that there is no duplicate found in the MDG system. That's maybe the happy flow, but we have also the possibility that a duplicate is found in the MDG system or the consolidation process. There we have the possibility that a business partner, which is the duplicate, is not yet in C4C, so we need to replicate it, or the business partner is already in C4C and then it needs to be identified. Second scenario is then we change a customer in C4C. Also imagine you're a sales rep and you need to change an address or need to classify a customer which is installed base. That's also a scenario which starts in C4C and then replicates the customer to the MDG system. On the other way around, you can also create customers in MDG, maybe as a part of a master data governance department or in the back office from the ERP system. You can also create a customer in MDG and replicate it to your front office, or you can change existing customer in MDG. On the one hand side, change the single customer in MDG, like one record, or you can merge different customers in MDG and transfer then the one single record back to a C4C system. Due to our limited time frame, this webinar, we just focus on the happy flow, so creating a new customer in the front office in C4C, putting it to the MDG system without any duplicate, activating it, and transferring it back together with the ID mapping to the C4C system. When you have a closer look at this from a business and system perspective, we have a streamlined flow process. The light boxes are the SAP MDG process flows, and the dark blue boxes are the SAP C4C process flows. In SAP C4C, we create a new prospect. For example, I'm a sales rep and I'm currently on a trade fair. I have new business cards and I want to put in the prospect as soon as possible in the system. So me or my colleague can start working on it, like creating opportunities, sending sales quotes, or resolving service requests in the service department. And a big benefit is then creating a lightweight customer, a prospect, being able to work with him, but transferring the customer to the MDG system to enrich the data and to do the duplicate checks. After I save this prospect, the customer is then sent automatically via the interface, via SOA web services and the cloud integration middleware to the MDG system, where the whole consolidation process takes place. So there is a standardization step. We match the customer record. We calculate the best record based on an algorithm, validate this one, and activate it as the one and finished customer. In our case, the duplicate check didn't found any match, and so we activate the data via the MDG hub. So as a result, basically the new customer is then added, and the key mapping is also added, which Bharat also explained. We have a key mapping for having a link between the C4C number of the customer or the prospect and the MDG business partner, for example. And this customer is then replicated from MDG hub to all the connected systems. In our case, it's solely the SAP C4C system, but in a common real world scenario, it's often also an ERP system, which need to know the customer. And there the customer record as such is transferred, as well as the key mappings. And in the ERP system, you have possibly then the task to maintain your financial data or logistics data, which is not part of the initial customer creation process starting in C4C. Last but not least, in C4C, you can also see and store the ERP number from the customer created in the ERP system. So the MDG links together the C4C, MDG, and the ERP number in the key mapping. And so this ERP number is also available in C4C because it's beneficial for setting up transactional processes like creating a sales quote or sales order in the ERP backend. You then need to know the ERP customer. Yeah, coming from this, we also have a basic view on the architecture, where we also find these four systems which were mentioned in the slide before. We have on the down part the MDG system. We have as a middleware or integration layer the sub-cloud integration with different iFlows which connect the system and set up the process integration. We have as client systems the sub C4C and sub ERP, for example. We start a process at C4C. We created a complete new customer. We will see this in a demo in a second, which has, for example, the C4C ID 1000 as an internal C4C customer number. This gets then replicated to the MDG system, where an MDG business partner is created based upon the data, which has, for example, the MDG business partner number 5000 and a link to the C4C business partner number 1000 in the so-called key mapping. Then as a result, the customer is then transferred back to C4C with the key mapping. You see above C4C number 1000, MDG number 5000, and the customer is also transferred to the ERP system, also with the key mapping, because the ERP has another customer number depending on the number range. For example, the ID 2000, and the MDG puts in bracket around all these numbers in this key mapping. And with this, we start and look into the system. We start here at the C4C system. I will refresh it again so we don't lose our session. That's the overview of the C4C page. I am a sales rep and I want to create as quick as possible and with the less information possible a new account. There we go to customers, accounts, where we then simply create an add button, and we have defined only 3 fields as mandatory. So that's basically a low set of fields which are necessary. And we have this webinar GmbH, which has the role prospect, that it's lightweight, and we give also information that's in Germany. We save this account and open it. We have also a duplicate check within C4C, which is ignored in that case. So we ignore the duplicates from the system, save and open this one, and see that this customer is created in C4C. In the next step, we need to replicate this to MDG. This is done automatically. To verify this, we go to the administrator part and have a look into the web service monitoring, where we can see in a second that several messages went out to the MDG system. We will refresh our screen for a second. And we will see these 2 messages are sent out, one the mapping and one the actual message, business partner replication out, and this holds the payload with the customer. And if we go in, we have in mind our architectural view, going from C4C, we go to this cloud integration middleware, where also this one message is then transferred to the MDG system, replicate business partner to the business suite. And with this, I will hand over to my colleague Bharat, who will show the MDG process.
Thanks, Manuel. Okay. So now, as we have seen, the message monitoring in C4C. So similarly in MDG also we have a message monitoring. So as you can see here, there are different messages which we get. Here is a monitoring view like this. So once we get the messages here, then the consolidation process is triggered. So let's look into the consolidation process. So here is your consolidation page where you can check all your consolidation processes. Going to manage consolidation process. Yeah, so as you can see here, you have all the list of the consolidation processes which were triggered. So you can see, so this is the consolidation process which is triggered. This is your source system, which is the C4C system. This is it created by the inbound user, so which is a backend technical users, and currently it is stopped for initial check. So for the demo process, we have made this as a manual process, but in the real world, you can make this as an automated process, so where you don't need any manual intervention. So in case of only the manual intervention will require whenever you get any duplicates or you get any matching is found, then only you will have to do a manual intervention. But if there is no duplicate, nothing is found, then the whole process runs automatically and the business partners gets activated completely. So right now this is just we are at the initial check step. So here the initial check is done to check the system, to check the records. So everything is green right now. We click on continue button. So we come to the matching step. So matching is done based on the matching rules which are configured in the system. So as now we are looking into the happy path where there is no duplicate found. So here you see there are no match groups which are required, or there is any action required. So here then we will again click on continue record. So as you can see here, there is no need for any intervention here. So since it is a completely new record, so it gets created as a new record. We click on continue. Here the validation takes place. So if we have any validation rule defined, so based on those validation rules defined, this validation takes place. So right now everything is green, and then we click on continue. Once we click on continue, activation starts. So as you can see here, this activation is completed. So we can go into the details. When we click on the show details, you will see the details of the record. So as you can see, this is the record business partner which got created. This is your source system, which is your C4C system. This is the source ID. The source ID is the C4C prospect ID. And for this prospect ID, 656 is the business partner number which got created. So let's go into the BP transaction and see what is this business partner. So we are here in the business partner transaction. We go into 656. Here you can see the webinar GmbH. So here you can process, you can click on edit, you can change the data, just add more information like address details, street, postal code, city, for example, like this. So once this record is saved, we give the address details, and this record is saved. So once this data record is saved, it gets transferred to CPI, and then from CPI it gets transferred back to C4C, where now my colleague will show you how the data will look like in C4C. So I will just hand it over to you, Manuel.
All right, then. So we are back in CPI. Thank you, Bharat, for showing us the consolidation process. After the activation of the customer, an automatic SOA request is created, which is then transferred to CPI, and then from there on transferred to C4C, updating and activating the customer and putting the ID mapping in place. So we check wherever this is already done. There should be several calls there. This one down here is the one triggered initially from C4C to MDG. Then we have these two calls. Let's start with this one. This is the other way around, so replicate a business partner from the MDG system back to C4C. This call is a so-called extension integration flow because we have a customizing there to transfer also custom logic or custom fields there. So we don't need to change this SAP standard iFlow. We have this extension iFlow which is triggered. We have then the key mapping from MDG, which says this C4C prospect ID belongs to this MDG business partner ID. And because the messages are asynchronous, we have also the confirmation from C4C back to MDG that the processing was successful. So these 4 messages could also be seen in the C4C message monitoring. I will refresh again. And we will see that we have several messages there which are all green. That's fine. The most of them incoming and the confirmations outgoing. And we can also check from a business perspective. We have there our webinar GmbH. We can see that the address is now fully maintained, which was configured in the after the consolidation process by Bharat. So the changes from MDG are there, and we have also the possibility to check the ID mapping for integration, which shows that the customer which has the internal prospect ID in C4C has now an ID mapping to the MDG business partner, which has the ID 656 and which has the technical system ID, in this case D4 development system, for example, 656. All right, then that was what we want to show you in the demo part. Our theory is now at the end. So before I start to give you a brief outlook on the next webinars, I just want to say that you are now feel free to put your questions in the chat, in the question panel, and we try to answer it in the next couple of seconds. While you're typing, I want to make some advertisement for our academy. So this webinar is soon available our academy page at IB Solution, where you can find the recording and the slides. And I can also share our next webinar, which is in German, not in English. It's called Best Practice zur Massendatenanlage und Änderung von Materialstammdaten über SAP-MDG. Yeah. I hope you enjoyed the webinar, and we are now looking into the questions you provided. First of all, there are a couple ones. Question 1, are the CPI iFlow standard, or is there a need to develop them? That's a good question. So basically, SAP provides standard iFlows for a scenario like this, which can simply be bit configured to your system requirements and activated. In case you need custom field mappings or custom logic, you can use the enhancement spots which are there from SAP. So there's also no need to start from scratch. So to answer the question, there are standard iFlows and you make some extensions, but you don't need to start from scratch. Another question is there, question for the MDG part. Can we use custom change request type in the integration process? So Bharat, it's
all right. Yes, SAP provides us the change request template, which we can use, and where we can configure the change request types based on the business activity which is given by SAP. So based on that, we can define our change request type. We can define how the workflow will look like and how the CR will be triggered. So as per the standard process, for the creation scenario, consolidation process triggers based on the consolidation process, your business partner gets activated and transferred to C4C. And then in case there is any change of record from C4C, then for the change record, the MDG change request will be created. It will follow your workflow, and based after the workflow is completed, your data is activated and again sent back to C4C. Yeah, I hope I answered your question.
Okay, perfect. So I got information that there are no more questions there. So thank you all for joining us today. I hope there was some information there which was necessary for you. Thank you again and take care and see you. Bye.
Thank you.